I'm disappointed. Actually, no, I'm really disappointed. And honestly, I'm also a little bit angry. Not because Tottenham lost 3-0 to Brentford. You can lose. You can lose. You can lose a football match. It's the first game of the Premier League season. It's August. There's a new manager. There are so many new players. I can accept all of that. What I cannot accept is how Tottenham lost this game. Because for large parts of the game, especially in the first half, I saw a team playing with absolutely no intensity, no aggression, no fight, no desire, and almost no reaction. And coming from someone like Roberto De Zerbi, an Italian manager I really like, and someone I predicted to do very, very well at Tottenham this season, this was incredibly disappointing, because Brentford didn't just beat Tottenham, they absolutely deserved to beat Tottenham. And honestly, 3-0 could have been even worse. Because Tottenham didn't have a single shot on target in the first half. Zero. Brentford were already 2-0 up, and from the very beginning, you could see one team playing Premier League football at full intensity, and another team that simply wasn't ready. And that's what worries me the most, because look at the Brentford's first goal. Quick movement. Sangaré combines with Ouattara, and suddenly Tottenham's defensive structure is completely opened up. Simple, fast, aggressive, brilliant football. And Tottenham watching. That was basically the story of the first half. Okay? No. But before we continue, by the way, I'm Neschio, and this is Beyond the Calcio. And first of all, I owe you an apology, because I'm recording this video the day after the match. But yesterday I was extremely busy with my main Italian channel, because Serie A is back as well. And during the weekend, things become a little bit crazy for me. But I really wanted to talk about this match, because, as you know, I've been very positive about the Zerbi and Tottenham. Maybe too positive. So, if you enjoy these videos, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me a lot, especially at this early stage. Now back to Tottenham. The word I would use to describe that first half is careless. And Bergvall is probably one of the clearest examples. There were moments when Tottenham lost the ball with far too much superficiality. And on the second goal, again, they lose control of the situation far too easily. But it's not only about individual mistakes. That would be too easy. The real problem was the attitude of the entire team. Brentford were winning challenges. They were quicker to the second balls. They were moving the ball faster. They were attacking space with conviction. Tottenham looked like a collection of players. And interestingly, De Zerbi basically admitted exactly that. He said, Tottenham are not a team yet. And I think that's the perfect description. Because there are talented players there. A lot of talented players. But talent means nothing if 11 players don't move and fight together. And then you look at Brentford and you see exactly the opposite. I really have to praise them, because what a performance. They were brilliant. Not one individual carrying everybody else. The whole team played with incredible intensity. Sangaré was excellent in midfield. Janert and Jensen were excellent. Lewis Potter was constantly involved, and Coyote scored the third. Everybody looked switched on. Everybody looked ready. And this is why I love watching the Premier League, because we're in August. It's the first game of the season, and Brentford were playing with an intensity that, as I said multiple times, in Italy we can't imagine. And Tottenham never really found an answer. Actually, if there is one player I want to mention for Spurs, it's Mike Moore. Because we need to consider he is 19, and for me he was probably the only player who really looked dangerous, at least, especially in the second half, of course. He had a couple of situations where he actually attacked his man, found space, and forced the goalkeeper into saves. At least there was some personality there, no? And I also liked Mateus Fernandes when he came in, not because he completely changed the game. Obviously, he didn't. The game was basically gone already, but he brought a little bit more energy, no, and movement into midfield, of course. And in one of the better actions of Tottenham, he helped create an opportunity for more. Obviously, small things, very small things, but on a day like this, you have to look for something positive somewhere. And that said, the overall performance was still nowhere near good enough. And Brentford could easily have scored more. They even missed a penalty. So if you're a Tottenham supporter, honestly, the final score could have been even worse. Now, I also want to calm down a little bit, because I don't want to make the opposite mistake. One match cannot destroy an entire project. I've been very positive about the Zerbi, and I'm not suddenly going to change my opinion after 90 minutes. We need to consider that Tottenham changed a lot. There are many new players. There are players still adapting. And De Zerbi's football is not something you learn in a week. His ideas require automatism. They require courage in possession. They require players to understand where their teammates are going to be before they even receive the ball. And all of that takes time, of course. And Tottenham have spent a lot of money because they clearly believe in this project. So yes, I'm still optimistic about the future, but being optimistic about the future doesn't mean accepting what we saw against Brentford. I'm sorry. Actually, it's the opposite. If Tottenham want to reach the Champions League, and I remember I predict them to finish very high this season, the standard has to be much higher than this. I repeat that. You can lose. You can make tactical mistakes. You can misunderstand what your new manager wants, but you cannot be second to every ball. You cannot play without aggression, and you definitely cannot look surprised by Brentford's intensity in the Premier League. So for me, this is the Zerbi's first big warning. No, not a disaster, not the end of the project, a warning, because there's enough quality in the squad to become a very good team. But right now, the Zerbi is correct. They're not a team yet. And Brentford showed them exactly what a team looks like. Okay. As always, now the ball is in your court. The questions are... how worried are you about Tottenham after this performance? Do you still believe that Zerbi can take Spurs into the Champions League? And how impressed were you by Brentford? What a performance. Let me know in the comments, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you very soon for the next Premier League post-match reaction. A big hug from Neschio. Ciao.